Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. I hope everyone is having a great morning so far. And I'm still getting acclimated to working in the old room where I used to work. So I hope everyone is doing great today. I am enjoying their Thursday. The week is almost over. I'd like to speak to my moderator who came in and spoke. Mama Bees, Grand Rising to Mama Bees. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Sharon Galbalt was also in here earlier. I forgot to put a trigger warning on this. I saw some of the press conference. They didn't get into too many details. This, as you can see from the title, is Epstein and Maxwell Victims Speak. And the emojis are actually the orange clown. I said he rolls over and plays dead, which is what he did. We know this whole weekend I was out of town and there wasn't a sighting of him. People were saying that he had, well, some people were actually eagerly anticipating, I'll say that, eagerly anticipating him going where he should go and looking up at us instead of doing everything he's doing now. But that has not happened yet. People are on a watch for when it does happen. We will see. We will see. We have a lovely Aaliyah on my t-shirt today. My sister gave me this shirt. I love the shirt, but her eyes are so sad on it. Like, I don't wear it a lot. But that is the lovely Aaliyah. We all know what Aaliyah went through from 15 until her untimely passing. Okay, y'all, this story, I'm getting it in different places. This is from Keith Boykin. Keith Boykin is a news reporter I follow quite a bit. I like him a lot. He is no holds barred. I would see him on different major platforms, but he's doing a Don Lemon. He's doing a lot on his own now. He's on Threads mainly. But he also was covering the Epstein files trial. Not trial, the Epstein files. What's happened with that is that so many people don't want to talk about it, even though he used the Jedi mind trick on them. We know that the orange clown was forever saying that if they reelected him, that he was going to put the Epstein files out. We all know that there are certain things that he acted right away on, which was mass deportation on day one. The people that elected him heard that too, but now they're crying about that. They said they know he meant it, but they didn't think he meant them and their family. So that's one of the things he didn't fulfill. The Epstein files being released, that's something else that Pam Bondi, people that are in charge of it, Cash Patel, those people don't want anything to do with it. Orange Clown has changed to now he is actually saying, he's going around saying that it's a Democrat hoax, which is what they like to use from everything that they don't really want to talk about. It turns into a Democrat hoax. We know it's not a Democrat hoax. We know that there are, on the thumbnail, there's a picture of the orange clown, his handler or escort, whatever you would like to call her, the second lady. There are pictures of Maxwell, who was billed as Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, but we find out that she was a trafficker, a handler. She was serving time in a maximum security prison, but the Orange Clown's administration has downgraded what she was serving for so that she could finish up whatever time she's going to finish up in a minimum security prison, which she's already been moved to. And some of the hearings that they were having, there was a lot of shenanigans. Nancy Mace, the representative from South Carolina, we saw her run out of the room as if she was in tears. I don't believe you, Nancy Mace. I think you finally realized that if you're going to run for governor of South Carolina, you are not going to be a person that's going to be a woman, a survivor yourself of what happened to you. And then you're not going to stand with actual Epstein and Maxwell victims. And also the orange clown, everyone knows is on that list, allegedly. And in my opinion, he's on the list. So this whole thing is terrible. I was watching a documentary and it was kind of like, it was a documentary, but you know how they use actors? It's a visual series. It was on Netflix. It was so good. It was about Prince Andrew. It was called The Royal Scandal. And they covered it from the end of a reporter that she got an interview with him because he couldn't shut his mouth. He wanted to go out, defend himself. There was nothing to defend, y'all. But the picture had come out with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. Prince Andrew had gone to New York, hat in hand, begging for money. Fergie, we all know he is married to her for years. Y'all, their relationship is so strange. They're best friends. They still, the daughters are adults, but they still have dinner together all the time. They're just, I've never seen anything like that. But the reason he was in New York going to speak to Jeffrey Epstein, hat in hand, he was begging because Fergie had some kind of bill that she needed to cover. And he went to Jeffrey Epstein. And Jeffrey just pulled out, just, how much is it? Gone. And he would do that for people that were so-called friends of his, that these people were not really his friends, but he would collect them. One of the victims even said yesterday, I'm going to read this. This is a young lady. Y'all, what gets me is that these ladies are still so young. Virginia Giffrey, I think she was just at 40. So it's really terrible. This is something I did not know. Mama B says there are pictures of Chief Justice Roberts with Maxwell hugged up on the island. So that's something that I did not know. If we don't know who Chief Justice Roberts is, it's Chief Justice Roberts, who is Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, John Robert. And so, y'all, a lot of times we would look at him and say, he's so smart. What he's doing doesn't make sense. I'm speaking about Chief Justice Roberts. We can kind of see why some of the things certain people do not make sense. That just explained a lot. That explained a lot why there's this deference to the orange clown, because he's was best friends for over 2 decades with Jeffrey Epstein. And I think something bigger than the both of them is why Jeffrey Epstein is no longer here. There were any way for them to have pulled a Ghislaine Maxwell and put him in minimum security and then just quietly float him out of here to somewhere with no extradition. I think they would have preferred to do that because they don't really know, I think, where all the files are, who has access. They said there was something like 33,000 pages released, but there's still a clamor for more to be released, and I hope they are released eventually. We know who's on them. As far as it being a Democrat hoax, they wish it were, because there are Democrats on it too, Republicans on it as well. But there's one party that claim that they are so Christian and lovers of family values and all this kind of stuff. That's the main one I'm concerned about. The party of the PDFs, that is the Orange Clown and his crew. So here's one of the victims yesterday. She was on the Capitol steps. Her name is Shantine Davis. She said his biggest brag forever was that he was very good friends with Donald Trump. He had an 8x10 frame picture with him on his desk with the two of them. They were very close. So that's what Miss Shantine Davis said yesterday. And I know those victims, when they are up there speaking and finally being heard just a little bit, because the news, make no mistake about it, I don't think the news really wanted to cover this. I'm sorry, I can't do anything with these blinds. I got to figure out how to reposition them. But they can't do anything with these victims that now they're starting to speak. And I'm glad that they're covering, because the news doesn't really want to cover it. One of the stories I was reading was the BBC. So there are certain stories that they don't hide. Our news is so complicit. It's really terrible. So we have Jeffrey looking down, and he's not the only one that's his name's gonna continue to be out there. The Orange Clown, we know you're involved. Now we're hearing about, allegedly, in my opinion, there is actually a Chief Justice Roberts. Sharon Goffel is giving more information. In my opinion, even if they release the entire Epstein files, nothing's going to happen to the Orange Man. I don't think so either. I think they're just waiting on him to kick. I guess that's what it is. He's been thoroughly humiliated, if that's at all possible. I guess what counts as humiliation for him is people other than his cult not really believing him or taking him seriously. I was watching him the other day when one of his friendly reporters, Pete Ducey, is over on Fox Entertainment. Pete Ducey was up there in the Oval, and he was asking the Orange Man, did you hear about the rumors about your own death? And usually he would laugh and joke. he took the question seriously. J.D. Vance was laughing. Everybody else was laughing. J.D. Vance is hoping it's true. That's why he was laughing. But he said, no, I hadn't heard that. He's not himself, y'all. He's on his last legs. Those cankles are out. They're getting ready to go. I'm just worried about what's behind him, but, there's not much we can do about what's behind him. I just want the main problem out, and then we'll start from there, because the thing about the cult, none of the other people behind him have the same pull over the cult members. I think a spell will be broken. Mama B said all the news outlets are worried about being sued by Trump. Shaking my head. They are afraid. A lot of them settle behind the scenes. Remember when Fox News paid a big settlement and said that they don't even tell the truth, that they're entertainment. So that's why they're called Fox Entertainment. But there have been other outlets that they just write him a check. They pay money. Some of it's reported on, some of it is not. Some of those settlements are silent. The thing about it is, what bothers me is that it'll be true. He'll sue them and they'll get afraid and pay out anyway. So now we have where they're trying to get all Democrats, and I think they need to pull about 6 or so Republicans to sign where they're going to release the rest of these files. So here is a thread. It says, while you slept, we have 214 Dems signed. That's just shy of the 218. We got to find out why they haven't signed this bill. Someone named Goldman is a holdout. Now, Representative Swalwell, that's Eric Swalwell, his mother just passed. He need to get his tail back down there. So even with them, they need two more to cross over. They got Bobo over there in Denver with those big glasses and her GED. I think she's just trying to save her seat. She's in a new district. And I'm not fooled by her. I'm not fooled by Nancy Mace, who's running for governor. I'm not fooled by 6B. Bad built, bleach bomb, butch body. I'm not fooled by her. She was standing up there with the victims. Y'all, I would have told her, get away from me. Didn't you support this person? And he's on the list. Somebody named Massey. That looks familiar. It says, call your reps. Remind them they work for you, not the clown in chief. My rep is Alma Adams with the hat here in Charlotte. She's so brilliant. She's always on the right side. I call to encourage her time to time. So somebody has a timeline. Every day I grieve. There's an alternate timeline where Kamala Harris is president. Yeah, this could have been avoided. 92% of us, we voted the right way. We did the right thing. And now all of us are suffering with these other people. So 6B, I don't know what Butch Body's doing up there with the victims. I would have told her to get away from me. And they were following her. They were trying to get her to talk yesterday, but she was just standing there looking like, She's sad to hear about it. Just disgusting. But her district, they'll reelect her again. She was running neck and neck with somebody, and then she ran unopposed in one of the seats. Everyone that came in while we are here talking about the Epstein victims, please come in and click the like button. Also, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. This is one of the political minutes that I do from time to time. This topic is so timely, and it changes every day, and we don't know what's going to happen with this. I did hear some of the victims up there saying that they've compiled their own list, which makes sense because, again, a lot of the women were so young. They're still young now. Virginia Giuffre is a name that really stands out because she is the one that I remember. I watched I think it's called Filthy Rich or something like that. Ghislaine Maxwell has one. Jeffrey Epstein has one as well. They're both on Netflix. Trigger warning, if you're going to watch those, they are very, very graphic. The girls talk about the brutalization they suffered at the hands of these degenerates and freaks. These were much older men. Ghislaine Maxwell, a woman, delivering these children to their abuse it's very hard to watch and listen to. But Ghislaine Maxwell is someone that when she aged out, and that's a term another victim used yesterday, she was used to go and give massages at Mar-a-Lago. And also she worked with Jeffrey Epstein in Tampa. And she did that from the age of 14 to 17. Y'all, 17 is when they age out. Go look at a high school campus. Those children are so young. So they age out at 17. And then you know what they use them to do? Get other girls from their high school to say, you want to make $300 or $400? You just have to give massages. You go to a really cool house. It's a mansion. And that's what they did. There's a Law and Order episode. I should have wrote down the name and the season it was on. But there's a Law and Order episode where there's someone called Jordy, and he's this defense contractor. It's based on Jeffrey Epstein. You know how they say this is not based on anybody living or alive. This is not fiction. This is not fact. It's fiction. This and that. They tell you all that before they go boom boom. But this was the case on Jeffrey Epstein, and the person that was his so-called girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, she was a handler. They used a much younger lady than the Ghislaine. Ghislaine and Jeffrey were close in age. They would go around like they were boyfriend girlfriend. But she was actually recruiting these young girls, and they would have modeling agencies. Guess who else had a modeling agency? Orange Clown had a modeling agency. They would traffic these women through the modeling agencies. Of course, who came here as a model, as a fake Einstein who can barely speak, but she's fake Einstein? Melania, his handler. So she came here as that and roped into that marriage. Look how dead her eyes go when he tried to touch her, or the check hasn't cleared and he tries to kiss her. Melania's looking sick, but that's what she deserves. I don't feel sorry for her at all. So we'll see. They can ask all they want, but Justice and Pam Bondi is not going to give them the most corrupt info. I don't believe they'll give up the most corrupt info either, Mama Bees. There's too many names. Like I said, it ranges both parties, all levels of government up to the highest, all in the FBI, the CIA, the Supreme Court, Congress, the Senate, just all levels. And then what they did down there in Tampa when Jeffrey was first convicted, they had someone give him that sweetheart deal. He would leave. He was so-called being kept in a halfway house. But when he would leave and go work, where he was going to work was for one of his own companies. And the man was still out there abusing high school girls at that time. And they haven't even talked about the boys. There are young boys involved in that too, because we have a lot of people during all levels of government that are into any and everything. If you look at someone who you thought, or they pretended they were so churchy or this or that, or let's see, throw a name out there like a Senator Lindsey Graham down in South Carolina. Everybody knows about Senator Lindsey Graham and the way he was so anti-Trump, and now he can't say a word against Donald Trump. And we all know what that is. So there are boys, very young boys involved in this as well. But if they come out, I don't know, maybe they are ashamed of how they'll be treated if they come out. This is really a triggering story for everyone. I just wanted to say a few words in honor of the victims, especially the courage that they're showing. Virginia Giffrey, I wish she were here to see this. As we know, she was ill. She had ended up with some form of cancer. So she was in a lot of pain. And then, y'all, she beat cancer. And it was just a mental thing that was going on with her at that time. And she ended up taking her own life. So they say. She's no longer here. As we can see with Jeffrey Epstein. And he's not the main one. He's the biggest name. But there are a lot of people that end up checking out of here. And they say they do it to themselves, but we don't know. We don't know. So I wish all of them well. I wish all of them to continue to keep speaking the truth, keep putting that out there, and keep shaming these people into releasing more of the files. Even though they've played with them so much, replaced names, added names, subtracted names, Orange Clown's supposed to be redacted. And I think the files won't make a lot of sense without him in there, since he's in there so much. I saw a picture with him, Clinton, his handler, Hillary's even up in the picture. So they're trying to figure out like what names they should put out, all kind of stuff. But this is just crazy, y'all. I've talked almost 20 minutes on this. This is one of the shorter topics because I just wanted to show honor and respect to the victims, the courage that they had to show to get out there and speak. And I hope more is still released. And I'd like to see the Orange Clown shamed more than he was the other day when they asked him. And yeah, they have a right to tell their story, Sharon. I agree with that 100%. And I'm going to leave that comment up because that's my sentiment exactly. The victims have a right to tell their story. I don't care if people have settled out with them or not and they've received any money, or if they haven't received anything, if their criminal trial fell through, if they're just going to go after him civilly. I just want them to be able to speak and to be heard, because we all know that something happened. Those things are still happening. I think they're a little more underground now instead of being out in the open that other people aspire to, because I think a lot of men, they vote that way because they aspire to that as well. If there were no minimum age, some of these men wouldn't have a minimum age. I saw a girl, she's telling the guy, I'm 14. He's like, what that mean? He was trying to harass her in the street. So there's a lot of people out here that are just degenerates, and it's a mood in the country of degeneracy. It's very scary, very. So you just have to stand on your square. When right is right, stand for that. When wrong is wrong, call it out. And thank you for watching Sandra P's Gen Extra on the Epstein and Maxwell victims speak. I look forward to hearing them continue to speak. And if you're Team Replay, please click the like button. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. I have a variety of topics over here, and I'm going to go back to some of my recaps as well. So thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Goodbye. See you in the YouTube streets.